Hello students, today we are going to discuss about the topic spin lattice relaxation and spin relaxation. Spin lattice relaxation or thermodynamic theory of Cosimer and Dupre for spin lattice relaxation. In physics, the spin lattice relaxation is the mechanism by which the component of the total nuclear magnetic moment vector, which is parallel to the constant magnetic field H, which relaxes from a higher energy non-equilibrium state to a thermodynamic equilibrium with its surrounding or lattice value. Here, spin lattice relaxation, which refers to the process in which the spins gives the energy they obtain from the RF pulse, which is back to the surrounding lattice, thereby restoring their equilibrium state. Here it leads to the line broadening. Here lattice refers to the surrounding molecules or atoms when the paramagnetic ion interact with the thermal vibrations of the lattice. Spin relaxation results. In some compounds, the spin lattice relaxation is sufficiently long so that EPR spectrum can be observed at room temperature. Here EPR spectra that can be observed at the room temperature. In some cases it may be too short so that it may not be possible to observe the spectrum at the room temperature. The relaxation time, which is inversely proportional to the temperature, that is, when the temperature is decreases, the relaxation time increases and the spectrum can be recorded. Hence, many transition metal salts and complexes have to be cooled to the liquid nitrogen, hydrogen or helium, the temperature to record the good EPR spectrum. Here EPR spectrum means electron paramagnetic resonance spectra. Then the first theory of spin lattice relaxation, which is based on the model in which the magnetic interaction between the spin is neglected, and it was developed by the Gotter and Kronig. They obtained the Debye relaxation equation, that is xi dash, which is equal to xi s divided by 1 plus omega square into tau square, and xi double dash, which is equal to xi s omega into tau divided by 1 plus omega square into tau square. This is taken as equation number 1, where xi dash and xi double dash are the functions of the magnetic susceptibility. H, magnetic field intensity H. The next, where xi dash, which is equal to xi s into cos pi, which is a high frequency susceptibility. Then xi double dash, here xi double dash, which is equal to xi s into sin pi. Here xi dash is equal to xi s into cos pi, xi double dash is equal to xi s into sin pi, which is already studied in the previous session. Here xi double dash is the which is used to determine the absorption of the energy by the specimen. And also xi s is the static susceptibility, then omega is the angular frequency, that value is omega is equal to 2 pi f, and tau is the relaxation time. Next, These equations describe the observation qualitatively better agreement with the obtained with the thermodynamic theory which is developed by the Cosimer and Dupre. In this theory, the spin system is treated as a thermodynamic system which separates from but in energy contract with the lattice. The next, consider the system of the spin of half in thermal equilibrium with the lattice in an external field H, external magnetic field H at temperature T. Then according to the Boltzmann statistic, we have a one relation, that is Np divided by Na, which is equal to exponential of 2 into mu b plus 1 divided by kT, where Np and Na refers to the number of spins parallel and anti-parallel to the applied magnetic field value H. And mu b, which is Bohr, which is equal to Bohr's magneton. Its value is 9.274 into 10 to the power minus 24 joule per T, where Bohr magneton mu b is a physical constant and the natural unit for the expressing the magnetic moment of the electron which caused by the either its orbital or spin angular momentum. Here the next, where H is suddenly, when we apply the magnetic field H, when H is suddenly increases to the H dash, the temperature of the lattice remains constant, that is T. It takes some time to adjust itself to the new field. When the applied magnetic field which is increases to H dash, the temperature, it takes some time to adjust itself to the new increase in the magnetic field, that is H dash. By substituting the H dash for H in Boltzmann equation, in this equation we can obtain the spin temperature as Ts, where temperature which approaches to the Ts, where Ts is the spin temperature. In the above example, the spin temperature which is greater than T, because when we apply the magnetic field which is increases to a certain amount, at that time temperature is also increases to Ts, that is spin temperature. Immediately after the increase of the field, as the times goes on, Ts which approaches to the T. Next, in an oscillating field, the difference in oscillators, that is theta value, theta is equal to Ts minus T, because here spin temperature which is always greater than the temperature value T. The amplitude of the oscillator, here amplitude of the oscillation becomes smaller as the heat contact between the spin system and the lattice become better. As long as theta is not too large, the heat transferred from the lattice to the spin system during the short interval of time dt may be written as, here d pi is equal to minus alpha into theta into dt. This is taken as equation number 2, where alpha is the coefficient of heat contact between the spin and lattice. The first law of, according to the first law of thermodynamics for the spin system may be written in the form of dq is equal to, here dq is equal to, we have dq is equal to minus alpha t into dt. This is taken as equation number 2. And again dq can be written as dq is equal to ch into dou t by dou m with respect to the applied magnetic field H into dm plus cm into dou t by dou m with respect to magnetization value m into dh. This is taken as equation number 3, where Ch and Cm are the specific heats at constant magnetic field value H and constant magnetization value M respectively. For the time varying field, we know that the magnetic field with respect to time can be written as H of t, which is equal to Hc plus H naught into e to the power of I omega t, where Hc is the constant magnetic field. The next magnetization value with respect to time can be written as m of t, which is equal to mc plus m naught into e to the power of I omega t, where mc is the constant magnetization value. The next theta value can be written as theta is equal to theta naught e to the power of I omega t. The next differentiation of this magnetic field with respect to the time t. So, dH is equal to I omega here with respect to time. So, this equation can be written as dH is equal to I omega h naught e to the power of I omega t into dt. The next again differentiation of magnetization value m of t, which is equal to mc plus m naught e to the power of I omega t. Then differentiation value can be written as dm is equal to I omega m naught into e to the power of I omega t into dt. Next, equation 2 in 3. Substitute equation number 2 in 3. We get here in equation 2 we have dq is equal to minus alpha into theta dt. Substitute the value of 3. Equation number 3 in equation number 2. Here in right hand side we have minus alpha into theta dt, minus alpha into theta dt. The next dq can be written as ch into dou t by dou m with respect to magnetic field H into dm plus cm into dou t by dou h with respect to the magnetization value m into dh. So, multiplying here theta can be written as theta naught into e to the power of I omega t. So, this equation becomes minus alpha into theta naught e to the power of I omega t, which is equal to ch dou t by dou m with respect to h. Here dm can be written as differentiation value of magnetization. We have here dm is equal to I omega m naught e to the power of I omega t into dt. Also dh is equal to I omega h naught e to the power of I omega t into dt. Substitute this equation, we get ch into dou t by dou m with respect to h, which is equal to, substitute the value of dm and dh. We know that I omega into m naught e to the power of I omega t into dt, then cm as it is dou t by dou h with respect to the m, then dh can be written as I omega h naught e to the power of I omega t into dt. Here in left hand side and right hand side, both sides of the equation contains e to the power of I omega t into dt. So, here e to the power of I omega t into dt, here e to the power of I omega t into dt, e to the power of I omega t into dt cancelled. Then remaining is minus alpha into theta naught, which is equal to, here I omega is common term in these two terms. taken outside the bracket. So I omega into remaining is Ch dou T by dou m with respect to h into m naught plus Cm into dou T by dou h with respect to m into h naught. This is taken as equation number 4. Then theta naught can be written as dou T by dou m with respect to h into m naught plus dou T by dou h into m into h naught. This is taken as the equation number 5. Then substituting the equation number 5 in equation number 4, we will get the equation minus alpha into dou T by dou m with respect to the magnetic field H into m naught plus dou T by dou h with respect to magnetization value into h naught, which is equal to I omega into remaining term is Ch dou T by dou m with respect to the magnetic field H into m naught plus Cm into dou T by dou h with respect to magnetization into h naught. The next here dou T by dou m with respect to the h. The next here m naught here taken outside the bracket. Here dou T by dou m in with respect to h into m naught. Sign is minus, remaining is alpha. Here this term also consists of dou T by dou m with respect to h into m naught. Remaining is I omega into Ch, I omega into Ch. This term goes to the left hand side, that is minus I omega into Ch. So minus is taken outside the bracket, remaining is I omega into Ch. The next here next remaining term is dou T by dou h with respect to magnetization value m into h naught. Here so remaining is I omega into Cm. Here this term minus alpha into h naught into dou T by dou h with respect to magnetization value goes to the right hand side. Here minus alpha term becomes plus alpha term. This term goes to the left hand side to the right hand side. Here minus term becomes plus term. So remaining is dou T by dou h m h naught plus alpha. So here m naught by h naught, here m naught divided by h naught can be written as minus dou T by dou h. Here minus term goes to the right hand side, the sign becomes minus. Here dou T by dou h with respect to m. Next here this the denominator term that will be goes to the numerator of the right hand side, and next here numerator term that will goes to the denominator of the right hand side. Then this equation can be written as dou m by dou T with respect to magnetic field H. And next remaining is alpha which is taken outside the bracket, remaining is alpha into 1 plus I omega divided by alpha into Cm. The next divided by alpha taken outside the bracket 1 plus I omega divided by alpha into Ch. Then next complex susceptibility xi star, the complex susceptibility xi star can be written as where xi star is equal to m naught divided by h naught. M naught divided by h naught, which is equal to here dou T, here dou T value get cancelled, remaining is dou m divided by dou h with respect to the temperature T, then remaining is 1 plus I omega divided by alpha into Cm divided by 1 plus I omega divided by alpha into Ch, where dou m divided by dou h with respect to the temperature T which is a static susceptibility value xi s. This is taken as a xi s, where xi star can be written as xi star is equal to xi dash minus I into xi double dash. This is the equation for the complex susceptibility, which is already studied in the previous session. The next, now the above equation can be written as xi star is equal to, here xi star is equal to xi s, because xi s can be written as, dou m divided by dou h with respect to temperature can be written as xi s, static susceptibility. So xi star, which is equal to xi s into 1 plus I omega divided by alpha into Cm, whole thing divided by 1 plus I omega divided by alpha into Ch. So here xi star divided by xi s can be written as 1 plus I omega divided by alpha into Cm divided by 1 plus I omega divided by alpha into Ch. Obtain the real and imaginary part of the xi star, that is xi dash and xi double dash. Here xi star, which is equal to xi dash minus I into xi double dash, where xi dash is the real term, here xi double dash is the imaginary part of the xi star. So multiplying and divided by 1 minus I omega divided by alpha into Ch, we will obtain the relation 1 minus I omega divided by alpha into Ch plus I omega divided by alpha into Cm plus omega square divided by alpha square divided by Ch divided by Cm. This is multiplying these two terms, we will get this relation. The next, here a plus b into a minus b, we will get the relation 1 plus omega square into Ch square divided by alpha square, because here I into I, that means I square. So I square value is a minus 1 into here minus, so this term becomes plus. Also relaxation time tau can be written as Ch divided by alpha, the specific value of the specific heat of the equation with respect to the magnetic field, that is Ch divided by alpha, which is taken as a relaxation time tau. So substitute the value of Ch divided by alpha square as a tau. In this equation can be written as 1 plus omega square divided by alpha square into Ch into Cm minus I into, here this is the real term, 1 plus omega square divided by alpha square into Ch into Cm. This is the real term, this is the imaginary term because it consists of the I. So remaining is I is taken outside the bracket I, and remaining is omega divided by alpha into Ch minus omega divided by alpha divided by Cm divided by 1 plus omega square into tau square. This is equation number 6. By comparing, xi star is equal to xi dash minus I into xi double dash. So take the, first we will take the real terms of the equation number 6, that is xi dash divided by xi s, static susceptibility xi s. Here xi star can be written as xi dash minus I into here xi star can be written as xi dash minus I into xi double dash, where xi dash is the real term. So that's why we written this equation as xi dash minus xi s, which is equal to 1 plus omega square divided by alpha square Ch into Cm divided by 1 plus omega square into tau square and multiply and divided by CH on both sides of CH, we will get CH plus omega square into CH square, here CH that is CH square divided by alpha square into CM. Here CM term that will be cancelled. The next remaining is CH multiplying and divided by equation, multiply and divided by CH, we will get the relation CH plus omega square divided by CH square divided by alpha square into CM, whole thing divided by CH into 1 plus omega square into tau square. And next, this equation can be written as CH into CH plus omega square divided by tau square divided by CM. Here tau square, because CH square divided alpha square, that is equal to relaxation time tau square. Then remaining is whole thing divided by CH into 1 plus omega square into tau square, which is equal to CH plus omega square tau square into CM. Here add and subtract the equation by CM. The next divided by CH into 1 plus omega square into tau square. Here CM, this term contain a CM and this term is also contain a CM. Then CM, this is common, so taken outside the bracket CM. Here 1, remaining is 1 minus omega square into tau square, then remaining is plus CH minus CM. Here denominator term as it is CH into 1 plus omega square into tau square. Here CM divided by CH, here CM divided by CH. Here 1 plus omega square tau square, 1 plus omega tau square get cancelled, remaining is CM by CH plus here CH minus CM divided by CH, which is equal to divided by CH divided by 1 plus omega square into tau square. Next, the real part of the equation, that is xi dash divided by xi s, which is equal to CM divided by CH plus 1 minus CM divided by CH. Here CH get cancelled, remaining 1 minus CM divided by CH, which is equal to whole thing divided by 1 plus omega square into tau square. This is equation number 7. This is the real part of the xi star. Then next, imaginary part of the xi star can be written as xi double dash divided by xi s. Here imaginary part consists of omega divided by alpha into CH minus omega divided by alpha into CM divided by 1 plus omega square into tau square. So xi double dash divided by xi s, here both term consist of the omega divided by alpha, so taken outside the bracket, and remaining is CH minus CM, whole thing divided by 1 plus omega square into tau square. Here omega into CH taken outside the bracket, then remaining is divided by alpha, 1 minus CM divided by CH divided by 1 plus omega square into tau square. Here CH divided by alpha can be written as relaxation time tau value, so omega into tau into 1 minus CM divided by CH, whole thing divided by 1 plus omega square into tau square. This is taken as equation number 8, where the relaxation time tau, which is equal to CH divided by alpha, is determined by the coefficient of heat contact between the spin system and the lattice. Next, graphical representation of the real and imaginary terms of the xi star, which is represented in this diagram. Here, this is the real part of the xi star with respect to the frequency f. The next, this is the imaginary terms of the xi star, that is complex susceptibility with respect to the frequency. Here xi imaginary part, xi double dash divided by xi s, that is known as a. Here paramagnetic dispersion, figure 1 which represents the paramagnetic dispersion, then figure 2 represents the paramagnetic absorption. Here we will draw a graph with respect to the frequency f. Here frequency which is taken along the x-axis, then xi star divided by xi s which is taken along the y-axis with respect to the applied magnetic field H. When we apply the magnetic field H, which is equal to 800 Gauss, at that time the xi dash divided by xi s value, which is a constant to the some point, at that time frequency will be increases to a certain point, then this value xi dash divided by xi s, which is a constant, at some point which decreases xi dash divided by xi s, which is decreases with the increases of the frequency value, that is known as the paramagnetic dispersion. Next, when we apply the magnetic field, that is 1600 Gauss, then next we apply the magnetic field 2400 Gauss, then we apply the magnetic field 3200 Gauss. At these 4 applied magnetic field, at firstly the susceptibility value, that is xi dash divided by xi s, which is constant. After that it will be decreases to the certain level, then it approaches to the constant value with the increase of the frequency value. This is the diagram of the paramagnetic dispersion. Then we will go through the paramagnetic absorption. Here also we will take the frequency value which is along the x-axis, then susceptibility, that is xi double dash or complex susceptibility, xi double dash divided by xi s, which is taken along the y-axis. Here first initially when we apply the magnetic field, when we apply the different magnetic field, at that time here the susceptibility value which is increases with the increases of the frequency value. Now after that the susceptibility value or complex susceptibility, the imaginary terms of the complex susceptibility value becomes suddenly increases with the constant frequency value. A typical example of a set of dispersion measurement which is given in the figure 1. The dots are measured points, the curves which corresponding to the equation number 7. The curve which is corresponding to the equation number 7, which is the real term, this is the imaginary term. This is the real terms of the complex susceptibility. The next, there is a good agreement with the Casimir and Dupre theory. The absorption of the some material which is given in the equation number 8, and again good agreement with the equation is obtained. The derivation at higher frequency, dashed curve are due to the onset of the spin relaxation. This is due to the higher frequencies, this is due to the spin relaxation. The next, spin relaxation. In physics, the spin relaxation is also a mechanism by which a magnetization value mxy, magnetization value with respect to x and y coordinates, The transverse component of the magnetization vector exponentially decays towards its equilibrium value in nuclear magnetic resonance, that is NMR, and magnetic resonance imaging MRI. Next, spin-spin relaxation exists between the NMR, here spin-spin relaxation which is exist because NMR spectrometers detect the signals only when the magnetic moment of the entire population of the nuclei are aligned, also moving in a symmetry. This condition is met at the onset of the typical NMR experiment, but as the time goes by, the motion of the individual nuclei vary from the mean due to the random differences in their experiments, and as the variation in the population grows, the vector sum of their magnetic moments decays to the 0. Since nuclear magnetic signals also lies intensity which individual nuclei return to their equilibrium orientations, all the processes that contributed to the spin lattice relaxation, also it contributed to the spin relaxation also. This contributes to the spin relaxation also, spin lattice relaxation also. Here higher frequency which contributes for the spin relaxation. We have seen in figure 2 that at higher frequency absorption is observed. Here higher frequency absorption is observed over and above the spin lattice absorption. This absorption is interpreted as due to the spin relaxation, can be described by the formula A spin, that is xi double dash divided by xi s, or imaginary terms of the complex susceptibility can be written as, which is equal to 1 divided by 2 omega square into tau s into xi s divided by Cm divided by Ch, where omega is the angular frequency, that value is omega is equal to 2 pi f. The next tau s is the relaxation time, spin relaxation time, xi s is the static susceptibility. The next here tau s is the spin relaxation time. It is in the order of 10 to the power minus 10 second. This is minimum value. In order to estimate the tau s and hi be the RMS value of the internal magnetic field, hi at the position of the every dipole which is due to the other dipole. If the dipoles are pre-spins, the Larmor precision frequency associated with the internal magnetic field hi, that can be written as Larmor precision value omega well, which is equal to e to the e divided by mc into hi. On that expect that the time required for the spin to change its axis precision will be of the order of, the next relaxation time, tau value can be written as L divided by omega L. We know that omega L value, that is E divided by mc into hi. So tau can be written as L into mc divided by E into hi. This is the relaxation time with respect to the Larmor precision value. This is the spin relaxation.